I thought that that was enough,
Mm.
not realizing that the vehicle in which you are investing your work ethic in is equally as important. Your work ethic, right, is equally as important as the vehicle that you're putting your work ethic into.
Welcome back to Talks with Tal, the podcast with real conversations that break down how different businesses actually work. With business owners and income builders sharing their stories and experiences so that we can better understand how different businesses actually work. So if this kind of conversation speaks to you, make sure you're subscribed, give the episode a like, and share it with someone that you feel needs to hear it. Now, let's get into today's conversation with my next guest. Welcome back to Talks with Tal. Today's conversation is one I've really been looking forward to because it's not just about income or business. It's about discernment and building something that truly supports the life you want to live. I'm sitting down today with my mentor, Natalie Jones. Natalie began her career as a social worker, deeply committed to helping others. And like many women, she was drawn to opportunities that promised impact and flexibility and growth, but didn't always deliver on sustainability. And what I admire most about Natalie is not just what she's built, but how she's built it with intention, faith, and long-term vision that's centered on leadership, lifestyle, and legacy. In today's conversation, we're talking about what actually moves the needle in a high-ticket business, what it takes to create consistent five-figure months, and how to think about growth in a way that feels expansive and not exhausting. So if you're ready, let's get into it. All right. Welcome, Natalie. So glad that you're here with me today. But before the luxury travel, the fashion, and the freedom that people now see, what did your life actually look like when you were working as a social worker? What were some of the cravings that you had for more at that time?
Yeah, I remember it so vividly because right after graduating, I pretty much got a job in a group home, full house of boys. And it was a learning curve for sure. And I just remember being there every day. It was like my second or my first, it was like my first home.
Hmm.
I was working 40 to 65 hours a week. That include weekends. That included, like a week at a time being the primary caregiver in the home as well. I also do remember having like other side hustles, if you will, where it was still in social work, but I was like a freelancer, working one-on-one with children in the communities and in their homes. So any days off that I had at my job, that's what I was doing. And then I also remember when I had finally left that job, that I was just doing freelancing, and that included weekends and after school hours. And eventually I did go and work in before and after school programs. So that took up a lot of my time as well.
Mm.
And I just remember craving freedom, honestly, to keep it simple. I really wanted to like travel the world. I really wanted to be able to pick up and go without having to request the time off. I really craved spending more time with my loved ones, my family, right? Like the kids that I was working with, the teenagers that I was working with were seeing me more than my own family. And I remember at the time my sister has a son, and so I'm an aunt. And that was kind of the eye-opening scenario for me, right? Like I don't have kids of my own yet, but I knew I wanted to be a very present, rich auntie. And so, it was kind of disheartening not really being there. And so that was kind of like an aha moment for me, like knowing that I wanted my own kids and then also knowing that I needed to be present. And so that was what I was craving, more freedom to travel and not have to request the time off, but also to spend more time with my loved ones.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it takes a very special person to do the kind of job that you were doing, especially when it
Yeah.
comes with teenagers and teenage boys at that.
Yes.
No, no offense, boys, but they are a handful, I tell you.
Handful.
And
Yeah.
especially as teenagers who are living in sort of a community environment like that, that's just there's a lot of stress. They don't know
Yep.
each other. There's a lot of stress. So
Yep.
I can only imagine how intense that must have been for you. And then wanting
Mm.
to actually spend more time with your family that that wasn't this drama fest that was going on in your daily life. It was just like I could see how you were craving that. And I
Yeah.
know, you and I met on Instagram, thank God for social media, right?
Yeah.
And I remember shortly after we partnered together, you took your family on a trip to Jamaica. And I was
Mhm.
like, so my girl right there. I just thought that was such a full circle for
Yeah.
me to be able to see that. And you hosted your family to Jamaica. So that was like the real kicker for me to say, yeah, you know what? This is the kind of business that I really need to be in.
Yeah.
So thank you for inspiring me and motivating me to keep going and live out that dream as you are doing right now. So you've always been someone who helps people. I mean,
Mhm.
it's just something that's always been part of your background. And first as a social worker, and then now in network marketing. At what point did you actually realize that impact alone wasn't enough, that you also needed, scalability and financial sovereignty? Like, at what point did that like really narrow in for you?
Yeah, well, I remember when I was in college and I had all these really amazing passion projects and a lot of, ideas on my heart that I wanted to be able to do when it came to like my career as a social worker and the impact that I wanted to make in the communities with families, children, and youth. I was I'll call it naive because part of my schooling experience was internships, and I did quite a few of those before I graduated, and it really put a lot of things into perspective
Mm,
that heart and impact and your intention
mm,
wasn't always enough, specifically in my career as a social worker.
mm,
You could have, as rewarding as the career was, it's also equally emotionally and mentally draining. And
mm,
so it didn't take me very long to realize that impact alone wasn't going to be enough.
mhm,
The whole system of social work is driven by a lot of politics and, what you can and can't do. And so there were a lot of limitations around the impact that I thought I would have been able to have anyways.
mhm,
And so it kind of deterred me away from wanting to put my whole heart, mind, and soul into the career and taking it further. And I then also realized that it didn't matter how impactful you were, your paycheck stays the same.
mm,
So you could really put in a lot of your time, effort, energy, and really wanted to make a difference and really, really from the bottom of your heart wanted to make a change. You didn't get paid more for working harder,
right.
right? Sure, you might have gotten paid a little more to pick up some more shifts, but at a point it just became burnout and it became something that wasn't really fulfilling because of the emotional mental capacity that you need to have that was outweighing the ability to want to do it selflessly. And so it took me turning 25 realizing that I would need something to scale and be financially sovereign because when I turned 25 I had this kind of midlife quarter life crisis is what I call it.
Okay. Not
We
very
all have,
many women have that, but
yeah,
yeah.
we have these timelines in our mind, right? So I thought by 25 I'd be married with kids and having a successful career.
Mm,
And that just wasn't the case for me. And so that's actually when I ventured into network marketing for the very first time in the low ticket space and saw something that was a little bit more possible outside of the realm of trading my time for money and hoping that my hard work and my desire for impact would take me into rooms and take me higher in my career, essentially climb the corporate ladder.
mm,
But it really took opening my eyes to the possibilities of entrepreneurship that
mm.
helped me see how I could scale and be financially independent. Because I realized that that wasn't going to happen in the career field that I chose.
Yeah, that's first of all, I want to touch on the fact that at 25,
Mhm.
being scalable was not the top of my
No.
priorities at all. So to be able to understand that at such a young age just already sets the tone and the bar for where you're going to be when you get to my age,
Mm.
right? So congratulations on that, because that's a huge deal, and not very many young women, especially, can really see that. It's more of a who can I depend on that's
Yeah.
going to support me.
Yeah.
And that's been since the beginning of time, really, which is
Yeah.
not a bad thing either. But so I know that you were exposed to the industry, this kind of online business industry before, but more in the low ticket industry, but it didn't quite fully click for you at that time. So what was missing then? And what did you recognize in this model that made you finally say, this is the one?
Yeah. Well, it took me 2.5 years to find this space or for this space to find me. And so, in those 2.5 years, I did a lot of personal growth and development and a lot of learning and a lot of trial and error. A lot of just connections with people and networking and things like that. For me, what it clicked for me when I realized that, like with my low ticket business that I had, that it was kind of similar to my career in social work. I was putting out a lot of time, effort, and energy, very, very much invested, but not seeing the scalability and the financial independence.
Mm,
So I was like, okay, this is not quite working, right? Despite the work that I was putting in.
mm.
It took COVID happening, like many of people, myself included. I got laid off from my job, which was kind of my like ticket to freedom a little bit. Like
Aha
it was,
moment.
yeah, an aha moment, but also like a slice of freedom, right? Because we were all at home, whether we were working from home or not, we had that kind of experience to see what it would look like working from home. And for me, that's kind of when I was like, okay, I know that I'm built for more than just trading time for money and being able to be home and to work out and just invest in my fitness and my health
Mhm,
and in just taking care of myself essentially because we're so accustomed to putting our jobs and our bosses and our quotas at our work before ourselves.
mhm,
So it was a really great introspective time to really reel in what was important to me.
mhm,
And that's when this opportunity presented itself. And I definitely saw that it was a way for me to get my desired outcome, which was the freedom and the financial flexibility in a condensed time frame in
mhm,
comparison to what I had been doing prior.
mhm.
I saw that it was going to take a different level of personal growth and development, right? Because I had done all this work that allowed me to have the success that I had in my traditional affiliate marketing business. But this was another level because now we're dealing with high ticket and now it's just a different mindset and a different psychology and a different energy that
Mhm.
you've got to show up with. And so I think that that was definitely what I
Yeah.
recognized.
So let's just, I just want to get into that for real quick because you touch on something really important there about the mindset, and we can dig into that a little bit later on too. But I just really want people to really hear what you've said. Is that, and what I'm hearing that you've said is that you know, prior to this format, to this system, to this actual business in the high ticket space, you were in the low ticket, the MLM, and you were hoping for freedom. You weren't really understanding how you needed a committed model in order to create the
Mhm.
freedom, but you were kind of hoping that this is where it lands. And I think that a lot of people who are in the MLM space, a great place to be, okay? And let's just say that straight off the bat. It's where I discovered online marketing as well. And affiliating as well. So nothing to bash on any of that. It's a really great, I'd like to say, stepping stone
Yes,
into the high ticket space.
correct.
But so you've gone from that hoping that
Mhm.
you get that freedom, hoping that that lifestyle comes to you. And then like something had to really switch for you in the beginning stage to say, oh, this is not a hoping situation. This is something I actually have to commit to. I
Yeah.
actually have to work towards. So let's just talk about that
Yeah.
transition real quick from the
Yeah.
MLM space into this and what that took for your mindset.
Yeah, and I think that what I hoped for, like I knew that it was going to take work. My hope was that my work ethic would be enough,
Huh. Huh.
right?
Yes. Okay. I get that.
Because I know for me, whatever I put my mind to, I've always been told my whole life, like I have so much amazing potential. And it's funny enough that I say that because I never really saw it for myself. I always just took everyone else's word for it. But
Mm,
it was kind of like in me to work hard, to see something through, to learn. Like, I mean, even just my educational background and story and history is like I went in and out of university
mm,
thinking that I had to go to university and make that work, and then ended up, landed in college and did well there. So for me, it was like I know my work ethic is going to carry me through, and I thought that that was enough,
mm.
not realizing that the vehicle in which you are investing your work ethic in is equally as important.
Let's
Because,
underline that.
yeah,
Repeat that again. Say that again.
yeah, so your work ethic, right, is equally as important as the vehicle that you're putting your work ethic into.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And so I realized that, like, yeah, I can work hard at this for the next 2, 3, 4 years, but it didn't change the fact that in this vehicle, I'm starting over every month. There's quotas that I have to meet. I'm spending more money than I'm making. I'm chasing the next customer or chasing the next business partner. I'm convincing and persuading and pushing people to work at my work ethic,
Mm,
and it just not yielding the fruit, right?
yeah.
So I think that that was the biggest part for me. Whereas, okay, now when I see this high ticket space, okay, now I see that I can put my work ethic in and be compensated generously for the
Yes.
work that I already was doing, that I was already going to do and will continue to do,
Yeah.
right? Like I can retire now if I wanted, but I still want to keep going because there's so many more people to impact. But yeah, I think that that was the biggest shift.
Yes.
And like we were talking about, just like the whole psychology of going from low ticket to high ticket and just coming from a place of building a personal brand and solving problems as opposed to just pushing products.
Oof. Yeah. Solid,
Mhm.
solid. Yeah, this is all like real gold. If you guys are watching this right now and you're kind of following along and you're sitting in that space of, I love my company, I love the products, this is so great. It does magic for my hair, my skin is doing amazing. I love the makeup line. These superfood shakes are amazing. Absolutely. Love on your products. We absolutely should. And I strongly believe that the best products
Yes.
are through MLM companies. I am
Yep.
a high, I mean, if you've got an MLM company, reach out to me, show me your stuff because
Yeah,
I will most likely buy from MLM over an Amazon store,
exactly.
So, but then you get into this place now where, like you said, you're finally being compensated for the same amount of work that you were doing before. And
Right.
so it just make it make sense. It's just like, why does it not make more sense to be in a space that is able to do that? So I want to just kind of push forward a little bit, right? Because I know that people see the income that you're making, right? We plaster it all over social media. Well, not plaster it, but we make announcements and we celebrate the wins of the team and all of that,
Yeah,
and, financial achievements, and they're huge. They're not like little $50, $100, $200, $300 wins. They're, in the 4 or 5 figures, right? Sometimes 6 figures, right? And so people see this income, they see the lifestyle that you're living, they see the traveling that you're doing and the luxury that you're all about now, and you weren't 4 years ago, right? But from what your experience is, I want you to get a little bit into the details of it. Like, what skills have you used that actually moved the needle, that most are trying to move, trying to get to that, to build a successful income that earns you $50,000 a month? It's like, what are some of those active skills? If you want to just share that with everyone, just give us the hacks, give us the top 3 or the top 5, whatever you got, like just drop it.
yeah, yeah. So the number one skill that I can think of at the top of my head is mastering yourself.
Mm,
And that comes from personal growth and development. Like I said, when I was starting off in my baby business, what I call it, and transitioned into the high ticket space, I know that I had done a lot of personal growth and development, reading books, listening to audiobooks. That's honestly one of the best things about network marketing is like it's personal development wrapped up in a business opportunity. So, I was surrounded by people who were making a lot of money. We were talking about ideas and, that kind of thing, proximity as well. So for me, the number one skill is mastering yourself. The second skill that I learned was marketing. Okay. And when I say marketing, again, I'm not talking about just promoting your product or promoting your service, but really marketing problems that you solve and marketing the transformation of those problems once they're solved, right? I know when you're talking about we are sharing these team wins about the thousands of dollars that people in our community are earning, like it's not even just about the money
Mm,
transformation, but it's like people are becoming debt free. People are buying their dream homes. People are going on vacation for the very first time. People are just picking up and going wherever they want without permission. You know what I mean? So it's all these different things that I learned that is impactful about marketing and showing people what's possible. And then sales. There is no getting away from the SALES sales.
that's
I
right.
know a lot of people are very squirmy about it. It wasn't until I owned it and actually saw that it's a very positive thing. It's a very impactful thing. It's what makes this world go round.
Right.
And it's the most impactful form of business. Once you reframe your thought patterns and your mindset around sales, it literally changes your life. And so learning skills was that third skill that I learned that
I
changed
love that.
everything.
I love that. I'm gonna ask you to dig into these a little bit because the first thing you said, mastering yourself, and you also referred to when you see the wins on social media and the stories or on the posts, and you see all of these dollar signs that are like bling 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 all over the place,
Ding.
it's not just that they made a sale, but I want
Mhm.
you to talk about how that I literally wrote it down, so I have my notes here, how they actually were able to master themselves
Yeah.
to get that sale. So how that actual dollar means more than just the actual dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you start to really learn what sales is and what it isn't, you realize that sales is just energy. So I think when you start to master yourself, this shows up with like your energy, your frequency, your confidence, your conviction.
Mm,
If you when you believe in something enough, there's nothing that will slow you down or shut you up.
man.
And so when you put that kind of energy into your marketing or into a sales conversation, um, that is what's being sold. That's what's being transferred. And that's why that person on the other side is like, okay, I want that confidence. I want that energy. I want that frequency. I want that transformation. I
Mhm.
want to get started. And that's actually what the sales transaction is. Like, yes, there are dollars being exchanged, but it is really just a transfer of belief.
Mm. Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
I
It's
have
a transfer of belief.
goosebumps just listening to you, like literally like shaking. Just it's so beautiful. Yeah, I love
Hmm.
that. So, and then let's talk a little bit more about the marketing part of it because I know that there are so many people that get all scared and get nervous to show up and to put themselves out there and to make posts, and there's also
Yeah.
this whole side of what do they call it, faceless marketing and all of these things. Like I know how you have changed your marketing skills.
Hmm.
I've seen your growth over the years. I'm completely impressed by it, completely.
Hmm.
And I try to emulate, and I also see my own growth over the years, even when we were in the small ticket, low ticket areas, and our marketing was, and now I look at it, I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh,
Cringe.
what was I thinking? Exactly. Total
Yeah.
cringe, right?
Yeah.
So what do you want to say to someone who is possibly who looks at your page and says, I could never do what Natalie's doing. That's so far beyond. I could never sit on an interview with Tal and talk like this free nilly without a script. Like, what do you want to, what do you say to those people about the subject of marketing and why it's so important and how that's going to get you to where you want to be?
Yeah, well, this is why self-mastery is important because you've got to learn yourself and know who you are. Because
Mhm.
once you do, then you stop thinking about what other people are going to think, or you stop trying to be a people pleaser, or stop trying to be a perfectionist, which I was all three of those things, right? Like you can scroll back on my social media and see who and what I used to post. And it's an evolution, right? Like you're not going to be the same person you are a year ago. At least I would hope you would not. Because that's kind of the point, right? And what's great is like this is your own business. You are the brand. And so you get to take your audience on this journey of you becoming the woman you were created to be.
Yeah.
And so that's all that marketing really is, just being yourself, showing up in the space and in the mind frame and as the person you are today, because as you evolve, you get to look back on your social media and see who you were 10 years ago or 5 years ago or even a year ago and see that you've changed. And people are going to look at who you are today and be like, oh, I could never be like her,
Hmm.
not knowing who you were a year or two or three ago.
Yeah.
Right. And so you get to show up and remind people every often who you used to be, where you used to come from, because we all started at the same place, at zero, as a person in debt and working paycheck to paycheck, a nobody, somebody, we all started as something. So, um, yeah, I think that that's the beauty of marketing is being able to show up as your authentic self and not feel like you have it all figured out or that you have all the answers and get to evolve into that person and take people along with you. But because I'll tell you, it's a bit of a blessing and a curse to kind of reach this level of success. Because yes, you're right, Tal, like you're saying, like a lot of people will look at you and say, well, I could never be her, or I can never reach her level of success, or I can never do what she's doing. And for one, I don't want you to be me. I want you to be you. But I want you to find who you are so that you know how to show up and be that person that you know you can be.
Yeah, I love that. And we all didn't just wake up like this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all, and this is not the end of it either. There's so
Hmm.
much more growth that happens after today.
Yeah.
So what you see today, 5 years
Yes.
from now, you're going to look back and be like, boy, was I just starting out.
Yes.
And so
Exactly.
that's what this is all about. And I think that marketing is such a great tool for people to really see how far they've come, to
Absolutely.
really learn about how they're doing, how
Yeah.
they're communicating. I mean, it really has so much skill involved and growth involved and internal growth. And I love that we really push people and we really pull out of them, as much as we can and as much as they're willing to put in. If they're
Yeah.
being coachable, we
Yeah.
got you, right? Like we got you. We can help you get to where we are now, and then we're going to be further along later on. And the last thing you said was sales. I mean, sales, all right? Like, why is this so icky for people? Like, why is it such a, oh no, I don't want to, I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell. I don't do sales. I'm not good at sales. Like, what is that?
Yeah, it's a programming, right? Like
Yeah.
if your family like had someone ring the doorbell that tried to sell your parents something and you saw your parents like shooing them out and
Uh,
closing the door on them, like that is now imprinted on your mind that like salespeople are annoying. Or
mm,
if you go to like a car dealership and you've had a bad experience and the car salesman was trying to push you into making a sale or into you making a purchase, that's imprinted on your mind. So there's a bunch of, and this is not just like limited to sales. This is actually a lot of the mindset and patterns and thought patterns that you have that are negative. That's how it formed. And so, you hear people or you heard in your upbringing like salespeople are icky. You hear people saying salespeople are, greedy. And it's crazy because like the thought patterns that you have about sales or any other thing, making money online or anything are not your own. They came from somewhere, right? So unfortunately, you can either allow that to continue to be your own mindset, or you can create your own for yourself,
Mm.
right? And so, um, yeah, it's just unfortunate people's experiences in life allow them to think a certain way about sales. And it just takes the right conversation with the right person for them to share their mindset or thought patterns on sales to show you that there is also a positive way that you can look at sales.
Yeah, I heard something really interesting the other day. I don't remember where it was that I heard it. But and I'm going to probably butcher it, but so it's something to the effect of um, the beliefs that you think you have or the things that you say are not necessarily your beliefs.
Mhm.
They're the beliefs that you've been programmed to believe by others' beliefs,
Yes,
right?
correct.
So it's so interesting to me how, and I'm finding myself doing this a lot more now, where I'm really taking in
Mhm.
things that I observe from media, from social media, whatever, from the news or whatever, and I'm really able to take it in now and make up my own dang mind.
Yeah,
Like make my own decision as to how much of that do I believe is true? What do I think about that myself?
yeah.
What would I do in that scenario or whatever?
Mhm.
And I think that a lot of people, when it comes to sales, you're right. They've been programmed that when the salesman came to the door and the parents shut the windows and turned off the TV to make it silent so that they pretend no one's at home, shut the dog up or whatever. Um, that's how we've been programmed to run away from the salesperson,
Yeah,
right? And without realizing now today that sales is a part of life.
yeah,
Like sales is also a recommendation,
yep,
except you're actually getting compensated for that recommendation. That's
yep.
what sales is. Like if we had to rewrite the dictionary, that literally would be what it is, right?
Mhm.
And so I think that people need to switch and get into their mastering themselves
Yeah.
mindset, right? And
Mhm.
really understand that what they're doing with sales is really sharing with people in a way that benefits them and
Yep,
them.
yep.
Yeah.
Mutually
Okay.
exclusive, yeah. And then just think like for all the ladies in relationships, like sometimes you got to sell your man on going to this restaurant instead of this restaurant.
Not
Or if you're a
sometimes,
mom,
mostly, yes.
if you're a mom, you've got to sell your kids on why it's time to go to bed, right? Like you can look at it like this really big thing where it's like transactional, or you can look at it as like you're saying, Tal, a way of life that allows us to mutually help everyone and get everyone getting what they want, essentially.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
constantly having to pitch
Yeah.
ideas, pitch your what you want, pitch your needs,
Yeah.
pitch,
When
pitch,
you're
pitch.
applying for a job, you got to, at that
You got
interview,
to
you're
sell
telling that
yourself.
boss
Yeah,
why you should get the job,
that's right. You put
right?
on your best clothes, your favorite lipstick, you comb your hair, you're selling yourself. It's
Yeah.
they don't see you in the pajamas or the sweatpants when you're going into a job interview. No,
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
So clearly, speaking of appearances, you enjoy beauty, you
I do.
enjoy fashion,
I
you
do.
really enjoy travel and luxury, and I love that for you.
Thank you.
How do you think about luxury now
Hmm.
compared to earlier in your journey? Like, what does it actually represent for you?
Yeah. Something totally different.
Mm,
Luxury to me before was like five-star restaurants, five-star resorts,
mm,
the Chanel bags, the designer bags, the designer clothes, like luxury, the luxury car. Now this is why I've actually like created this new rich collective so we could redefine what rich means.
mm,
Because for me, luxury is being able to own my time, being able to be where I want when I want. Luxury for me is, yes, not having to look at the price tag, right? Like if I want it, if I want this experience, I can afford that. For me, luxury has definitely been more about like the luxuries of life that you have when you own your own business, own your own time, and can literally write your own paychecks, essentially.
mm,
But yeah, it's definitely different from what we used to call rich, like the old rich, where it's like, money and wealth and cars and homes and things like that. And now more about rich in time, rich in health, the luxury of being able to go to the gym at any time and actually take care of myself, the luxury of being able to afford organic, clean foods, the luxury of being rich in friendships, in relationships, in community,
Mm,
in faith.
mm.
Yeah, this is what luxury means to me now,
That's
and
so
definitely
beautiful.
different.
I love it. It's that's not even a full circle. That's a stop the circle dead in the center and draw a whole nother new circle,
Yeah.
right? And like I said, just even at the age of 25 when you first realize this, you're so young to actually have this kind of epiphany happening in
Mhm.
your life, but to be able to have the compensation behind that that allows you the breath to think and feel so maturely and really, consider what your future looks like and so forth, and how you feel in your moments right now and how you want tomorrow to feel and be able to create that for yourself.
Yeah.
That's really something that anyone watching this should be immensely inspired by. So
Mhm.
Natalie is just like you were just rising, and I love it. I love it. So now
Thank you.
when you look ahead, okay, 5 to 10 years from now, right? You see this industry is evolving, and what excites you the most about where the opportunity is heading for women, for men, who position themselves right now? How do
Yeah.
you see that? Like, what excites you about the opportunity for them?
Oh my goodness. So it's crazy because when I first even learned about this opportunity and I learned that the company has been around for so long and they're always innovating and just like we're on the cusp of upward trend essentially. And that's actually when I realized that timing was absolutely crucial when getting on board any opportunity. And why I knew that I was at like the starting point of something huge. And what's crazy is we haven't even reached, like, I've been doing this for 4 years. And so I was saying the same thing 4 years ago, and we haven't even quite reached that peak yet, right?
Mhm.
So, this industry is always going to be evolving. I think that with new technology and new ways of earning and just the landscape of the environment or the economy as well. It's exciting because I think that it's going to allow people to work so much more smarter than we already are.
Amen.
I don't, AI comes to mind when I think of this. Like, there's so
Absolutely.
many tools and resources that
Yes.
we're able to use to duplicate ourselves, right? Like I said, if you're already a hardworking, coachable, willing to learn, ambitious, courageous, ambitious woman, like just imagine another one or two of you,
Right? Yeah.
right?
Oops. Yes.
And so that's what's really exciting about what's coming over the next 5 to 10 years. I really believe that positioning yourself now is of paramount importance,
Mhm.
because we don't know what 5 to 10 years for sure is going to look like from now, right?
Yeah.
And so it's always good to just be prepared now. It's better to have something building and working for you before you actually need it than to start building and
When you're desperate.
when
Yeah.
you're desperate and like
Yeah.
it's your last resort, last option.
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, like when you think about where the world is going, we are positioned beautifully in a health and wellness space, which is $1 trillion industry. We're ahead in health technology as well. We're with a very amazing longevity and legacy company
Mm-hmm.
that's, again, like, if you know anything about the Japanese, like they're second to none when it comes to health and technology. They're already in like 2030, 2030. So, it's just really, really amazing. And it's a great place to align yourself with, especially because of where we're going and the fact that we're literally just getting started. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are sort of intimidated by AI. I had this discussion with a dear friend of mine just this morning, and I've embraced it.
Hmm.
Last year, I think it was around summertime, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take this on under my armpits and just run, run, run,
Yeah.
run, run, run. Because what's so beautiful about the industry that we're in is that AI is not going to come, they say it's coming for your job. It's going to,
Yeah.
it's not coming for our job.
Yeah.
It's going to just amplify what we do.
Yeah.
It's just going to make our business that much better, that
Yeah.
much more effective, that
Hmm.
much more duplicatable,
Yeah.
and that's really what we want. We want more people growing the way that we are, succeeding
Yes.
the way that we are. So to be able to duplicate ourselves
Yeah.
is really what the goal should be at this point. And AI is growing so fast. When you think that something is not going to happen for another year or two, it's the next week. Boom, it's like already Chat GPT is on version 5.2. I was like, oh, wow, okay,
Yeah.
that
Here.
was fast. I
Yeah.
think it was like 4.8 just a couple months ago or something. It's like it keeps like growing and growing. And
Mhm.
the iPhone just keeps growing and growing. And when it starts in the small phase, it starts as a conceptual thing, and then
Yeah.
all it's going to do is just keep elevating. So
Yeah.
I was saying to my girlfriend earlier today, I said, don't run from it. Don't
Mhm.
run from it. Find a way to embrace it
Yeah.
in what you're doing every day,
Yeah.
because it is here to stay. And not only is it staying, it is growing. So
Mhm.
grow with it, or you're
Yeah.
going to literally be left in the dust.
Mhm.
All right. So anyway, so for the women that are listening who are feeling capable, or maybe not, but they're curious and they feel called to more, but just doesn't they don't want to force the hustle or whatever, that sort of thing. What are you going to say to that woman or that man in this moment right now when they're considering, maybe could I, do I have what it takes? I don't know. Like, what do you want to say to this person right now?
Yeah. Well, immediately I think about alignment. I'm very big on alignment and just embodying the person that you are not yet, but like you can envision yourself, like your higher self. And just think about like what that person version of you wants, what life they want to live, what goals they have. You have to start making decisions from that place
Mm,
because your whole life you've been making decisions from the place that you are right now, which is why you have the life that you have right now, right?
mhm,
And so curiosity is free. Like you always can just reach out and have a conversation, find out, or have a conversation about what your goals are, what you're wanting to create, what you like want your life to look like, and then see how this aligns, right? I'm so glad that you said like it not being forceful or not being, like a hustle because I think a lot of us have come from that. And
mm,
so you get to really step into a place where you're making an aligned decision. You're making, um, like I said, decisions from your future self, your higher self. That way you can see the opportunity for what it is. You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
not a facade or we're not building this on hype. As I was thinking about how we're like, not how we're positioning ourselves and staying relevant and evolving is like creating systems around this, right? So that it's not meant to be something that you're hustling 24/7. It does get to feel like ease. It does get to feel fun and enjoyable,
Mhm.
right? And I think when you align yourself with a community of people that are aligned and having fun with this and getting the results, it just makes it even more, attractive, so to speak. So I want you to know that you are capable, right? Because if I'm able to get to where I'm at, if Tal's been able to get to where she's at, it means that, we had some capabilities. You have a work ethic. You might as well get paid what you deserve for that work ethic. And you have you're backed by a community and systems that are designed to help you win. We're a no woman, no man left behind community. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, and what I love about your story, Natalie, is that it shows that success doesn't have to look hard to be real, right?
yes.
It really is just about making, like I've watched you make your decision, make your mind up,
Hmm.
decide that this isn't working. I'm pivoting to now doing it this way,
Yeah,
and really just growing with the times and just
yeah,
experimenting with yourself and with your mind, and really just sort of fishing through to find the answer. And that has rewarded you with financial abundance. I mean, to be earning the kind of income that you're earning now on a monthly, I mean, in a month you make what you made in a year.
Yeah.
It's like that's a huge yay. That's a really big deal. And it took a lot of hard work to get to where you are, and it's going to take a lot of hard work to get to where you want to be. So if you
Mhm.
want to just wrap it up and just sort of let us know, kind of what's next for Natalie? Like, what are you seeing coming out of this? Where's your next move? Like, where does 2026 lead you?
Yeah, it is leading me to creating a community and a space that's not just about building a business and being successful financially. I'm really feeling a tug or a calling to really help women specifically personally grow and develop. Like I want to be able to teach women what I was able to do 4 years ago to kind of fast track the success. I
Mhm,
think that if we place more emphasis and importance on personally growing and developing than we do on the number in our bank account, that the number in our bank account will follow. And
mhm,
so a big thing is the personal growth and development, working on unlearning all of the junk that you've learned up until now and relearning things that are going to serve you. Creating a space for women of faith as well, which
mhm,
all encompasses in building a successful life in every area.
mhm,
So that is why right now a lot of my time, energy, and efforts are going into building out systems and the space, the New Rich Collective, to be able to hold space for women to do that.
mhm,
And then, of course, with all of that comes the impact of that growth and the impact of that growth on your personal development, but also your bank account,
mhm,
and all areas of your life. And so that's kind of where my mind and what I'm currently working towards is more impact and getting more women to where I'm at so we can all travel and invest and live happy, fulfilling, abundant lives as well.
Sign me up. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Well,
Yes.
if you're watching this and you've seen all the way to the end here, congratulations to you for reaching this incredible moment in your life, and still at such a young age, just in your mid 30s. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I want to say that, you know, if you've watched me before, you know that I am also a woman of faith. I believe that God works in mysterious ways. We don't always know what his plan is, but if we just hand it over to him and we say, take the wheel, do with me as you will. Um, it's how Natalie and I got connected. Totally random. But there are no random moves in his playbook, right? There are no random moves. And I really believe that out of a needle in a haystack, for me to be able to find someone who, we would never have normally connected at all.
I mean, you're all the way in the US, I'm in Canada, so it's like
Exactly.
nearly
Exactly.
impossible.
Everything is completely different. But then when we did connect, we did find that there were so many similarities. It's
Yeah.
kind of really crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just, I want to say all thanks to God for the connection that we've
Yeah.
made.
Yeah.
And I'm so stinking proud of you.
Thank
Oh
you.
my gosh. It's just really like I'm about to get verklempt. But anyway, if you're watching this, just know that Natalie and I both come from a place of love, and we care deeply, and we are in service of anyone who needs another opportunity, who needs a way to find the answer, to make solutions for themselves and their family. We are here to be in service of you and to really just show you exactly what we've learned. So, Natalie, thank you so much for spending the time with me today. I really appreciate you being here.
Of course.
And yeah, take care, everyone. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, wow. Thank you so much for spending the time with me on Talks with Tal. If this conversation resonated with you, I would love for you to subscribe. And if you're curious about learning more about starting your own high ticket affiliate marketing business, you can send me a message with the word conversation. So take care. Bye for now. Mwah.